All right, Travis. So we had the unfortunate task of watching these two VHS tapes that are both terrible. I don't know. I mean, they're just. Might be the worst episode ever we've done so far.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because you think the 10th episode is kind of like a milestone kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's like your first 10. And you're like, cool, we're going to do two, fun-sounding movies.
Well, maybe we do things backwards. Maybe we go downhill first, and then it goes up.
Oh, man. So you think episode 11 will actually do something good?
Yeah. Maybe we'll start going up from there,
I hope so.
We started out really good with some pretty good movies.
Yeah.
And then we've slowly gone downhill lately.
We have been on a down slope.
Yeah, but it's not our fault. It's the back of these things that keep grabbing us.
Yeah, and really the first thing on this one was just Mark Hamill.
Yeah, Don Johnson, Mark Hamill.
Right.
And I was like, all right, Miami Vice, Luke Skywalker.
Sure, yeah. You're like, well, it's worth giving a shot. And this is called Primal Scream.
Yeah.
I mean, you're thinking, Primal Scream, there's probably some kind of primates or savages or some kind of horror movie. And it's none of those.
No.
But we'll get to that turd. But first, we watched The City with Don Johnson and Mark Hamill. Travis, would you like to attempt to explain The City?
So, The City is basically about Mark Hamill is this young country bumpkin from Texas.
Yes.
Who has found out something, or maybe has always known, something about this particular country singer that troubles him, and he wants to go to LA and find this country singer and take him out, basically.
Yes. And the country singer's name was Wes Collins,
yes,
right?
Wes Collins, played by Jimmy Dean.
Jimmy Dean.
And I did a little desk research. It's the actual fucking Jimmy Dean who makes the sausage.
Sausage Man himself.
Yeah, Sausage Man himself. Apparently, he was a country singer, a TV personality, and then sausage maker.
Wow.
So,
the man had his fingers and everything.
Yeah. So, Mark Hamill, it starts out with him working at like a gas station, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And this guy pulls up to the gas station in a Porsche.
A yellow Porsche, yeah.
A yellow Porsche, and he's yelling at Mark Hamill, who seems to be daydreaming.
Yeah.
Come over and, fill up my car. Hey, what the hell are you doing? And his boss is yelling at him to go over there and take care of it. And then finally the guy starts filling the car up himself because he's like, I'm not waiting anymore.
Which apparently in this takes place in 74, 76.
Yeah.
And apparently in the 70s, if you pumping your own gas was a sin to man.
Yeah.
Because this guy is losing his shit.
Yeah. But about that time is when Mark Hamill seems to come out of it all of a sudden and walk towards this man. But you notice that he's got this giant wrench in his hand.
Yeah, big crescent wrench. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he goes over to the guy's Porsche and commences to beating the shit out of it.
Yeah, he just starts just wailing on this Porsche.
Yeah. He's being overcome by the city. Whoa. The city gets to everybody sometimes. Oh no. You fucking killed him, man. And then he fucking hits the guy over the head with this wrench.
Yeah, kills him.
And kills him.
It kills him. And he just kind of runs away.
And then he just walks away. And you're like, okay, what the hell is going on with that? Why did he go crazy like that? That's when you're introduced to, I guess, the cops of the movie.
Yeah, yep.
These two detectives. They're both wearing tuxedos for some reason.
Yeah.
They've come from some function, I guess. They've been up all night. They get this call. One of the partner of the main cop, he's like super sick and he just wants to go home.
He's constantly spraying his nose with
But the cop's like,
stuff,
no, we got to
spray.
take the call because, we're cops.
Yeah.
And So they take the call, and it's about Mark Hamill, who just did this thing to this guy.
And this cop always, every time you see him, he has a bow tie that's undone. He never ties that bow tie.
He's always wearing this tuxedo.
Yeah.
And always has the bow tie undone. So anyway, he ditches his sick buddy.
Yep.
And teams up with Don Johnson.
Yep.
To go onto this call.
I don't like to work at all. See, I don't want to do shit.
Somebody ought to run over to General, see if there's a tie between this kid and the guy he laid out. You want to drive? What about Bert? He's out in his bun. Besides that, he's coming down with something. Want to know the truth? I don't want to get what he's got. Come on.
It's called AIDS.
And they start doing more and more digging. You know.
Well, you say digging. They go to a house.
Yeah.
And they talk to. I don't remember who they talk to. They talk to somebody.
Right.
And then that's it. It's just them just driving around L.A.
There's a lot of driving around in this movie. A lot of it. So Mark Hamill is trying to make it to Jimmy Dean or Wes Collins, this country singer.
Yeah, I remember at one point he actually takes a tour bus through the Hollywood or through Beverly Hills.
Fairyland, isn't it? A real fairyland. You know, my husband wouldn't come with me. He thinks it's silly to go around looking at things that you can't ever have. But I don't think it's silly, do you? I mean, that's like saying...
Please kill her right now, Mark Hamill.
I mean, it doesn't do any harm to dream, does it?
He's like, lady, you're going to need to shut the fuck up.
Where would anybody be with that?
Yeah.
And they're like, this is Wes Collins' house. And he's like, let me out.
Yeah.
Let me out. And he like wrestles the bus driver.
Takes his hat.
He takes his hat.
Then gets off the bus.
He gets out. Yeah, he gets out and he goes up to the gate. And the dog's like barking at him. And then Mark Hamill turns around and walks off. And it cuts to him hitchhiking.
Yeah.
And me, you're both like, why the fuck would you get off the bus?
Yeah.
If you're going to just hitchhike back?
Yeah.
What the hell was the point? You know.
But, there was a lot of that in this movie. What was the point?
Yeah. What was the point of making this movie? It was the real fucking
But it turns out that what we thought all along is that this country singer he's the illegitimate son of this country singer.
Right,
basically.
right.
I bet he stole his songs or something.
Yeah, that's his dad or something. What's like the laziest, dumbest thing you can think of? That's probably what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
But here's one key thing. When he was 6 months old as a baby,
Oh, right.
Wes Collins was like in this court case with his mother over if he was the father or not, and they never did prove that he really was the father.
Right.
But he figured, well, I guess I'm stuck in this situation and I'm going to take care of this kid. And he said he was sitting there in front of the kid, and the kid was hollering and squallering, and so he punched him.
Yeah.
He punched a 6-month-old baby.
6-month-old baby.
And then was put in prison for it for a while.
2 years for child abuse.
Mad at the whole damn world, and there was that kid bawling and squalling and... Well, I just want him to shut up. No, I want him to be gone. I just want him to go away. To stop me from feeling like, well, maybe I ought to take care of him anyhow. So I hit him.
So I hit him.
I didn't mean to hit him that hard.
He punched a baby. That was the funniest thing in that whole movie.
A 6-month-old baby.
Yeah. So
Oh.
then, Mark's a little salty about the whole thing,
Right. This is the main reason as to why Mark Hamill wants to kill Jimmy Dean.
I guess it's that whole sins of the father type of thing, because his father was a psychotic that punched babies, and his son ended up growing up to be a psychotic who wanted to kill him.
Well, there's also this little subplot they have to where his mom, Mark Hamill's mom, sends a letter to Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
And that letter is saying
Explaining.
that Jimmy Dean is Mark Hamill's dad.
Right.
But there's no proof of that. It's just
Right.
what the mom told him. So that's Mark Hamill's motivation to try to attempt to kill Jimmy Dean.
Yeah, he just wants to kill him. He's like, fuck this guy. He ruined my life. I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go into little psychotic rages into anything that gets in my way. along the way.
Well, it's funny too because as he's tracking down Jimmy Dean, Wes Collins in the movie, he's constantly asking security guards where Wes Collins is, and they're like, "Oh man, he's over here. Yeah, he's over there."
Multiple people ask these security guards.
I think that Jimmy Dean's character, Wes Collins, has hired the worst. Now, has literally hired the worst security team in the history of man. Yeah. It's amazing in these movies we keep watching how security keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
But see, things get explained like in the beginning of the movie when he flipped out on the guy for no apparent reason that had the Porsche.
Right.
See, later on, you see the album cover for Wes Collins' album, and he's standing in front of a Porsche that looks just like that one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's like ripped in half, they're holding it together.
So now you're like, oh, okay. So Wes Collins drives that Porsche. He saw that Porsche, and that's what triggered his whole psychotic episode. But basically, the cops are just trying to catch Mark Hamill the whole time, and Wes Collins is trying to keep the cops not uninvolved because he doesn't want anyone to know that he had this illegitimate son that he punched in the face when he was a baby.
Yep. Do you remember whenever Mark Hamill's walking through the park and there's those ducks and those young kids throwing rocks at him? And he has this big, long scene.
He's like, hey, those ducks never hurt you.
Yeah. And the kid's like, we're not afraid of you, old man.
Yeah.
And Mark Hamill goes on this long rant, and the kids have walked off 5 minutes prior. And he's still this scene just keeps going on
raising birds
about how not hurting animals is wrong, and the kids have just walked off, and then Mark Hamill looks down and they're gone, and that's the end of the scene.
Yeah,
but it's just really funny.
They ever hurt you? Huh? Yeah, I asked you if they ever hurt you. We ain't scared of you. There's no reason to be. Of course, there's no reason to hurt them ducks either, unless, of course, they were hurting you. Now, did they? How could they? You don't think they could?
So he's playing some kind of like country bumpkin?
He's actually doing a good job.
Yeah.
That was a good scene he just played there.
I'll tell you something. I bet you they could be just about the meanest things you ever tangle with. You get their necks bent about something. Boy, they're good old birds.
You sure are going on a long time about these ducks.
This kid's walked off 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It showed that Mark Hamill was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he did a pretty good job showing that he was nuts in that scene. So that was interesting. To Jimmy Dean's country house, and the cops are there, and there's a helicopter flying around, and Mark Hamill is jumping from bush to bush, shrub to shrub, and it keeps cutting with his shirt open and open and then buttoned open and buttoned. It's funny, and he's getting all dirty, and this helicopter's just flying around. And then he eventually gets to Jimmy Dean because Jimmy Dean goes out in the field looking for Mark Hamill for some reason.
Yeah, well, he thinks he's going to put a stop to this himself.
Is that what his motivation was?
Yeah, because he's like, you know what, I got to help save this boy because he's just mixed up.
I guess, yeah.
That's what he's thinking.
Yeah, so he goes out there and Mark Hamill pulls a knife on him, and then Don Johnson tackles Mark Hamill. They arrest Mark Hamill.
Eugene, I know all about it. I know everything. You don't know nothing. I know you need help, boy, and I want to help you.
Listen, I don't want nothing from you. You hear me? You just want to see you dead.
Stop it! Come on, take it easy. Don't hurt the boy.
You go to hell. You hear me?
And then that's the end of the movie.
That's it.
That's literally how the movie ends. Yeah, that's how the movie ends.
Yeah.
That's it. And it ends with the city.
Yeah, there really isn't a lot to talk about with these two movies.
There's not. But man, I don't know what else to say about the city.
I mean, they mentioned Texas.
Yeah, Mark Hamill's character's from Odessa.
Yeah,
Don Johnson's character's from Texas.
Don Johnson's from Texas.
Yeah.
He is from Texas, and his character's from Texas.
Yeah. So you get a few Texas mentions, which was cool. Well,
and then on to...
yeah. I don't even know where to begin with this.
This is the worst movie that I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
Ever, period, of anything.
And the first 10 minutes of this were awesome. We didn't know what the hell was happening.
No.
We had no idea.
They're coming in hot to the hot room.
Where are you gonna go? You're on a spaceship.
Everybody throw you out into the vacuum into the vacuum of space.
Is that how that would work? It would perfectly crash into the other one and
Yeah.
it would see all the penetrations. The people that were on ship A that crashed into ship B, they totally blow up ship B.
And they were there to steal something.
Yeah, and we have no idea what they steal.
We just know what it's called.
It's just called Hellfire. Is it a bomb?
Yes.
Apparently it was a bomb.
There's nothing left.
By the way, this movie was made in 1988, and they're filming the movie in the near future of 1993.
Yeah.
So from 1988 to 93, a 5-year period, they thought we were going to be in space mining asteroids and shit like that.
Yeah, spaceships. And so that happens, and they blow up ship B. Cut to back on Earth, where the man and the woman from ship A are fucking. They're having sex. Someone walks in, stabs a sword through both of them while they're fucking. And it's really funny because you see the guy's O-face. He's like, and he like throws up blood. Worst sex ever. Why did the O-face? At least he died doing what he loved.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, this is okay. This is good. Like, we don't know what the hell's going on, but it's wild ass. So we're totally invested. So the guy getting loaded in the ambulance is our antagonist.
Right.
And throughout this movie he narrates things because nothing in this movie makes any fucking sense.
Right. And
so the only way to explain the plot is that he has to kind of tell you what's happening,
but he still doesn't.
But it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on.
Still doesn't make any sense. But anyway, it was funny. He's an ex-cop and an all-around tough guy.
Yeah, and he's talking about himself.
Yeah, he's talking about himself. And you know that character, all he does in this movie is smoke cigarettes and bang chicks, which that's a cool premise. But that alone can't.
It just jumps around
a
lot. You have no idea what's going on. Characters just come in. You don't know their names.
Nope.
Names are never mentioned. You might have like 2 names out of this whole movie of people. There's the main character, Corby.
Yep.
And then there's like the brain of the evil operation, Mr. Hinnigan or whatever his name was.
Yeah, and it says, because when they narrate, because you don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
But the antagonist, Corby, he's the brains of the operation.
Right.
So you're like, okay, he's the bad guy.
You know the chemical that they're trying to steal called Hellfire.
Which is Hellfire.
And that's pretty much it.
And what Hellfire does is when you inject it or touch it, it
dehydrates your whole body to the point where you disintegrate.
You disintegrate. Yeah, exactly. You just disintegrate. And just ash.
Right.
Once in the system, Hellfire takes over. This is the result.
So throughout the movie, people are like shooting up, and then they shoot up Hellfire, and they just die.
Yeah.
They just turn nothing. So the effects of that were kind of cool. You see a mask that they made. It looks like kind of like paper mache, but they did a really good job with it. And it's just this cool looking mask of them being dissolved away into nothing, and that was cool. And you see really cool like little miniatures when they're in space. That was all neat. But this movie sucks.
No.
Because here's the thing. I don't know what happened in this.
I don't know what happened.
I fell asleep a couple times.
I don't know who the characters are. I don't know. There was a guy that spoke with a British accent, and the rest of the movie he didn't.
But how this starts off, after the interesting stuff, the first 10 minutes, it cuts to the blonde woman showing up to Corby's house. He's a private investigator. And she's like, I want to hire you. And he's like, okay. So somebody breaks into Corby's house, shoots him in the face with a dart gun, right? Cut to Corby and Blonde Woman had just had sex in bed, and Corby doesn't know what happened. He's like, what happened? And she's like, oh, we fucked. And he's like, well, after that. Or he's like, before that. And she's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're back.
Yeah. No, before that, there's Shadow.
He's gone. That's all that matters now.
And then that's what this movie is. There's so many sequences of that to where nothing makes any sense.
It's like, before I show you how we got to this point, we have to back up a little bit.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Well, it's that kind of thing with this,
right?
Except they don't do that.
Yeah.
They're just at the end of the movie, you're like, oh, look, this is what was happening in the beginning.
Yeah, the beginning of this is the ending. So basically, they try to do like the bait and switch kind of to where.
But they didn't
it starts
explain
off
it.
with it. No,
they didn't explain it.
No, it doesn't make any sense. I just honestly think they didn't have enough. They didn't have 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So they're just like, well, this movie doesn't make any sense anyway. Fuck it. We'll just reuse the footage from the beginning at the end. And they do that. That's exactly what they do. The beginning is the end. It's all the same scenes.
Yeah. I fell asleep a couple of times.
Yeah, I did too. I just dozed off because it was so boring. I mean, and Corby, the antagonist, he fucks every woman in this movie.
Right.
Right. Every one of them. And he's just like a scumbag. He's like a chain smoker. He has no good qualities. And he's the worst antagonist ever because he doesn't do anything.
Right.
There's nothing in this movie to invest in. At least the city had a plot.
It had a plot, and it also had the decency to only run for 74 minutes.
Was it that short?
That was that short.
Wow.
This one runs for an hour and a half.
This felt like 6 hours.
It felt like 6 hours, but it's an hour and a half is too long.
That was 90 minutes of just
garbage
brutalness.
Garbage.
Like, I just felt like somebody was just banging me over the head with a club while watching this.
Yes.
Because you'd be sitting there watching it, and then you just...
What's the matter? Don't you trust yourself?
Looks like it's gonna rain pretty soon.
Oh, God.
I'm just gonna stare at this thing out there that's blinking with a light. It's more interesting than this movie.
Yeah, this is terrible. This might be the worst thing we've watched so far.
This is the worst thing.
And it started off so strong.
This is the worst thing I have ever watched, ever before.
Oh, God. Please just fucking end. Oh, God, that was the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. You just doze off, and you pop back up.
But after you've dozed off, you haven't missed anything.
Nothing.
You still like even if you had watched it that entire time, you would still have no idea what was going on.
I mean, nothing made sense in this.
Yes.
And I'm not even over exaggerating. Like, nothing makes sense in this. Nothing. I just don't understand. I don't understand what story they were trying to tell.
No.
I have no idea. Because they're going for like this noir space feel.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
I guess
it doesn't work. Like, it doesn't.
Hellfire bad must stop.
Yeah. What year did Blade Runner come out? Because I think this is supposed to be...
Blade Runner was like 84.
And this came out in 88. I think this was someone's really sad attempt to be Blade Runner.
Yeah.
You know, like a space noir kind of.
Yeah.
And Blade Runner is visually gorgeous. I think Blade Runner's terrible. I think it's boring as hell. But it's a visually stunning movie. This is terrible visually. and it's boring. And there's not even like any kind of nudity in it. It's even you'd be like, at least there's nudity in it. There's not even that.
No.
There's nothing in this. There's nothing.
No redeeming quality.
There's no redeeming qualities about this. Like, this is literally the worst thing I've ever seen. And, and I've seen a lot of shit. And this might be the absolute worst thing ever.
I would watch The City every day for the rest of my life if someone told me that that was the choice between this or Primal Scream. I would watch this every day for the rest of my life.
I think I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Like if you know, if there is a hell, Primal Scream is playing 24/7 on a loop.
Yeah.
And you just gotta sit there and watch it, like with
Orange Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, Clockwork Orange style, where your eyes are taped open. But do you remember any good scenes about this? I don't know how I'm gonna edit this because there's not even I don't remember any good scenes in this.
No.
Like there's no action scenes that I can show. There's no cool sequences that I can show.
I mean, they couldn't even figure out how to put together a scene.
No.
So there's no good scene to...
The only thing that I think that I thought was cool was the stuff in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know what I'm going to show in this.
Nah.
I mean, this movie's terrible.
Yeah.
I just...
And that's really about it for both of them.
I don't know.
There's really not much else we can go on about with these two movies. I mean, we can sit here and keep telling you how terrible it is. But that's about it. That's about all we can say about these movies.
I mean, it really is fucking awful.
Yeah.
All right, well, here comes the point of the movie where me and Travis tell you not to watch these.
Yes.
Travis, could you recommend The City?
Never.
Yeah, this is terrible.
I could recommend The City if you were trying to decide whether to watch The City or Primal Scream.
Yeah, that's the only way that you could recommend The City.
Yeah.
All right.
That should just be thrown in the garbage.
Yeah,
I mean, fuck it.
Yeah,
take the tape out to use it to tie something together or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? If it was close to the 4th of July, I would blow this thing up with firecrackers.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's not. You can't recommend Primal Scream. It's a complete turd. I mean, it's the worst thing I've ever seen.
Worst thing we've ever seen.
And The City is terrible.
And we watched that one movie with the Wolf Pack people. You know,
Curse of the Wolf. I enjoyed Curse of the Wolf.
I would watch that over this.
Yeah, Curse of the Wolf. I like Curse of the Wolf. That was at least something to watch.
That movie had no production value at all.
And it was much more entertaining.
And it was way more entertaining.
Yeah, this has... I mean, this had some kind of budget. They used miniatures and stuff.
Right.
But man, is it bad.
God, terrible.
Yep. Well, that's it, guys.
That's it.
Both these movies suck.
Hopefully we'll come through better for you next week.
Yeah, next week
we need to stick with what we originally planned to watch, which was Kickboxer.
Yeah, see, because we keep on getting these movies, and they're like, we got to watch these because they sound great, and then they're fucking terrible.
Terrible.
So, but yeah, next week we'll go back to action or horror genre, because we thought this was going to be action. But this just ain't working for us.
No.
All right, man, that's it.
That's it.